Good morning.
I didn't change batteries in this. So this morning we're going to talk about culture, and we're going to start with the presentation from 2 years ago, the Area Manager Summit. I believe it was mid-year summit, not a December one. Does anybody remember this presentation? Who was here for this?
The one in Youngway?
2014.
The one in Youngway was in December.
Was it? Okay. So clearly you remember it. So my question is, that's what I'm getting at. So raise your hand if you think you were there for this culture deal. Okay, so 6, 7 of you. All right, so the idea is that culture is taught in a company. Culture is probably, well, it's not probably, it is the most important thing that you can do, because there are about 10 studies on the values and vision section, and they all say that the number one reason why somebody chooses a workplace is environment. Environment can be your physical location, or it can be culture, who you work with. It's the number one reason for retention is the culture of an organization. The culture of an organization is taught by hiring within your culture, aka if you don't want dickheads in your office, don't hire them. Not rocket science, right? What culture aspects, who do you think the number one culture area is? The number one area that focuses on culture the most? Maybe Brent's?
There's the grunge too, though.
Maybe it's Grand. You know the culture of the Eagle County offices? We got too much work to worry about culture, right? The answer is, that's a terrible answer. All right, we need culture. So if your culture is to drink beer, unfortunately it's not ours because of the type of work we do, but if your culture is to drink beer and fight a lot, then don't hire people that can't drink beer or don't fight. Make it a prerequisite, right? Okay. Can it be a written prerequisite? Can
For culture?
Probably not.
Not really.
Can you get it done anyways in a job interview?
Sure.
Well, I should have turned off the recording before I said that, right? Heck yeah. Okay? There is a test at Google that says if you got stuck at an airport for an entire day, would you want to be stuck next to this person? If the answer is no, don't hire them. Okay? Now, sometimes we get desperate on line level deals, so we hire them anyways, right? That doesn't mean you have to make them a manager. Just don't blow smoke. Tell them that they'll be a manager when they're never going to be a manager. Set the correct expectations. But the culture is created. Culture certainly does happen, but it easily can be forced. When it's forced, and it's done over a long period of time, it does become natural. So what culture are you going to create? Bob Vanderak talks about values-based. Okay, this is the second day I've quoted Bob Vanderak in the first slide. Who's Bob Vanderak? Turnaround king of Wall Street. Okay? 27 companies from failure to profitability. Never stayed at a company more than 3 years. That one was a miracle. He was there for 3 years. He goes in and he does this with the senior executives. And he goes, hey, you're a problem. Get out. Right? He's a very bold guy. The author of Triple Crown Leadership. Lives here in Vail, smokes like a chimney. But a very interesting guy. Values drive behaviors. Mission group versus a drug cartel. You know who's very good at culture? Drug cartels. What's their number one value in a drug cartel? Loyalty. Loyalty above everything. Above rules, above laws, above everything, right? Drug cartels know how to get culture done. To the detriment of everybody there. Loyalty is a strong value, but when it so outweighs everything else, it becomes what? Scary. Right? Having loyalty is not a problem whatsoever. Having loyalty in your team is a great value. When it's 99% of the value, you lose focus of everything else. But drug cartels are amazing to look at when you want to talk about building an organization. Because it's 100% built on loyalty. Established, organized organization and personal values, communicate those values one-on-one, and build it into your culture. Right? Example. Does everyone ride the bike to work? I already did that one. Hiring filter. I'm ahead of myself, aren't I? What areas will be different? When Matt and Brent heard this talk, they took it to heart. They actually, Matt really didn't have a lot of culture at the time. He was building from nothing. The culture was kind of a backstabbing, you do me favors and I'll give you hours kind of random BS. It was pretty bad. Okay? We have a name for that. It's called inheritance. That's what Matt inherited. Okay? He had to take that and he had to run with it. And there had to be a point where we stopped trying to manage his area and we let the people who got pissed off quit or get fired. Right? We had to let him drive culture for his area. We had to have faith in him that he knew what was best and he had to push to get his own culture in there. It wouldn't have worked if we pushed the culture. Here's the deal. There are certain things that we as an organization can push in culture. But it can only go so far because I'm not in your office. We're not there. It can't be my culture in your area. It's got to be your culture because it's your area. And your team has got to be part of your culture. It's got to go hand in hand. Because it's the number one reason why your people will stay with you. Because they buy off on your culture. Why was Dennis such a great fit for our organization? Because he brought the subject matter expertise and the culture from day one. Yeah, I love EP stuff. Yeah, let's do search and rescue. I love security. Let's figure this out, right? And by the way, I'm a whiz at crunching numbers. He fit the culture from the beginning, before he even walked in the door. It was a slam dunk culture hire. And it's apparent. When people don't fit the culture, they feel left out. Is that a good thing? It can be if we're deliberate, but if they're the right person and they feel left out, and they still hit some of your culture, maybe you've got a problem where you need to address cliques and continuity. But for the most part, in an organization, that's not the issue. For the most part, it is about managing culture. Safety committee. These are the cultures that I want to drive. The culture of safety. Why is it a really bad idea for the CEO and the COO to talk about speeding? Now we've both been pulled over. Does that promote a culture of safety? Nope. I'm also not going to lie about it. I am who I am. But let's do the math. I wrecked a motorcycle at 130 miles an hour, and the next day I got ran over ankle to Aspen or Jeep Rubicon. Am I your pillar of safety? Is there a reason why I'm not leading the safety culture of this organization? Probably. Got shot in the face with a 38 and 5 eye surgeries. Right? It's not a great idea to put me in charge of safety. But safety is important in our organization because it is dramatic at how we drive safety for our clients. It is dramatic at the cost of a single work comp claim. We've killed this topic over and over again. We have to be culture-driven people. So this is definitely has to be in our company culture. Is it in your area? What are you doing in your area to drive culture? Somebody actually answer that question. Tell me what you're doing in your area besides safety meetings to drive culture. Safety culture. Wow. We're all hungover? Somebody's got a topic? What are you doing in your area besides safety meetings? Are you sitting back and letting a meeting drive your culture? Who's in your meeting? The top people? Are you disseminating that meeting information to your people? Are you emailing that to your people? Are you publishing it to your people? Are you asking for their opinion? Are you asking for their advice? Employees have some great safety recommendations. And when you dismiss them, when you say, oh, a budget's not going to allow you to have a foam suit on every day, what are you crazy? We're not buying everybody those. What are you doing to the culture of safety? You're crushing it. Even if it's a dumb idea, even if it's never going to happen financially, you crushed the culture of safety from the guy who brought it up. But when you say, hey man, I love that idea, let me explore it some more, or come to the safety meeting and present it. If you know it's going to get shot down, fine, let him present it. What does that do for him? In our safety meetings, we need more content all the time. Great, let's discuss it. Maybe there is an idea that we can take out of it and we can take it down to a manageable financial level, and we will put it into practice. When you're out at an event, put someone in charge of safety. Hey, it's your job to be in charge of safety. Make sure everybody's got water, sunscreen, all that kind of stuff. Is it a supervisor? No. Does it matter? No. Culture. Okay? It's your job to make sure this week everyone has yak tracks on. Line level person, it's your job this week to make sure everyone in our uniform is wearing a yak track. That way, I don't have to be the jerk going around doing it. By the way, I'm too busy. I can't focus on it. But a line level guy, he's going to go, that's my job. I have purpose. I've got mission. I'm driving safety culture. Maybe he's not going to use those words, but it's the same damn thing, right? Culture of purpose. What a segue. I gave it a young guy, young employee, young girl, purpose. Other than standing there all day long. Give them purpose. Your purpose is customer service like you've never seen or heard of before. I want you to make the news. Like the 10th at the 2015 World Championships, who made the news twice. He made national news because he's out there high-fiving people and excited to be at work. He's a 10th. How many lessons can we learn from him? What's your purpose? Brent probably understands the purpose of what we do and how it impacts people more than anybody. He's the only person that brings it up all the time. He always says, you know, what drives me, this is what he said yesterday, is knowing that if we're not there, people could die. If you hear a beep in a room, don't stop looking for it until you find people about to die of CO poisoning. Because you have purpose. If I don't show up to work tonight, hey Josh, if you didn't show up to work at a employee housing shift, you think anybody would really notice?
Yeah, people would notice.
Okay? Because there's actual purpose behind what you're doing, and you understand it. But making sure that the employee knows that there's purpose, knows that if you miss a Forsyth Village call, somebody might actually die that night. It seems dumb, but they're asleep. They don't see the flames coming out of the living room window. The alarm's not going off yet. I'm using real experiences here, okay, that our company has dealt with. There are hundreds of them. And by the way, we don't do a great job of driving purpose when we don't talk about those experiences. When we don't bring a huge spotlight in here and shine it right on that one story about how that one employee drove purpose by actually saving someone's life. We go, hey man, he did his job last night. Great martyrism. But we have to drive culture by focusing on purpose. Culture of goals. We talked a lot about this yesterday. We have goals. Do we know them inside and out? Are they in here and in here? Are we working our priorities toward our goals? Are we actually giving goals to our line level people, or is it stagnant at the supervisor level? Oh, you don't need goals, you're just a line level employee. Are our goals just work related, or do we have personal goals? Are we a culture of goals based if we're not bringing it into our personal lives? No. You think culture of drinking beer and riding bikes is at the office? Oh, it's a Saturday. I don't drink beer or ride a bike on Saturday. Hell no, man. Those people drink beer and ride bikes all the time. Because that's what they do. Because that's their culture. Are your goals personal? Do you want more education? Talk about it. You know, Young Capital has put 2 people through dramatic schooling changes, right? One person was a finance CPA, or a director of finance, and wanted to be an RN. It was like, you're kidding me, right? You've got a master's degree and now you want to be an RN? Yeah, great. Go to night school. Took them like 5 years to get it done. It doesn't matter, we'll get it done. Somehow. Right? If you don't want to be here, speak up. We'll help you exit, even if it takes 5 years. I want your personal goals to be done, not your... That's culture right there. What is that?
I don't know.
Taylor Swift? That's bad. All right. What are your personal goals? Let's get them done. Let us know what they are. Talk about them. Put them in your reviews. Because we're not just here 9 to 5. We can't be a team 9 to 5. Hell, none of you actually work 9 to 5 anyways. Right? Do our employees have personal goals? Do we know what they are? Are we helping them achieve them? If you're going to use us for a paycheck, good for you. Use us for a paycheck, as long as you're going somewhere. We're blessed to have you as long as we do. And we're honored to see you go on to bigger, better things when it's time. Right? Because you're achieving your personal goals. Great. Responsibility. We got some checklists that got to get done, right? We have responsibility to the people who pay us to be there at 10 o'clock. That we're there at 10 o'clock. At 9:50. Autonomy. Cohesive. Okay? We are a team. When the shit hits the fan, if somebody's left out, it's not going to work. Okay? If somebody really doesn't fit, fire them. If they actually don't fit, get rid of them. If they don't fit on your team, just get rid of them. I don't think there's a single person in this room that doesn't actually fit. You're in this room, we're pretty good at putting the right people in this room. We're pretty good at putting the right people in the right seats, which is a lot better than we were a couple of years ago. We're still trying to get the right people in the right seats. But we gotta be a group, especially in senior management and fixed contracts. Now, if you're in a group in special events and you're working on that culture at a time, that's your job, is to get rid of people that don't fit. Be deliberate about it. Set the right expectations. If you have to have a real negative conversation, do it in pairs and document it. Okay? You know what happens? The difference between one person having a negative or a coaching conversation with an employee, they're perceived like being a dick. This guy's just a jerk, he's out to get me. When two people sit down and say, listen, you're not on the right track. You're not fitting in. You're not hitting the respect and purpose culture that we have, or the safety culture that we have here as an organization. It's two people, universal in their approach, talking to one employee. They're going, shit, I need to step up. It's not personal anymore. Right? That's how autonomy works. It's clear when one person's outside of it. When you follow the right guidelines of management. Flexibility. It's pretty obvious when people don't have this culture, right? This guy's just not a team player. That's what they always say. They're not a team player. Is it not that they're not a team player, or they're just not flexible? Yesterday, I had both my daughters in the back of the car, and one of them screaming because we're not doing what we told her we were doing. The other one, who would normally be screaming, says, "It's okay, Dad. We can do it different tonight." You know, and I said, "Thank you for your flexibility." It's so easy to tell they don't have to be children when someone has this and when someone doesn't. Because it's great, we can plan like crazy, but what happens to our plans at the 11th hour? Sometimes they fall apart. Culture of praise. Raise your hand if you think we're awesome at this. I'm glad someone raised their hand. I disagree. I agree with the people that don't have their hands up. I think this is one we need a lot more help on. I think this is one that we need a lot more focus on. Praising each other for what you do for each other. There's a lot of martyrs in this room, and that's great, but it only can go so far. Because it's taxing. You get a culture of praise in an organization, it is unbelievable. The statistics are unreal about how much it comes back in retention, in happiness factor. Right? Whose happiness is cousin? Whose happiness is cousin?
Passion.
Huh?
Passion.
Passion. Passion comes with praise and happiness. They're in a triangle. There's actually a triangle diagram by it. I didn't put this, but it's true. Praise. Innovation. I'm pretty good at this one. We got this one down. Right? Constantly reinventing how we do things. That's fine, as long as it's not change for change's sake. Change for betterment. Okay. Not change for change's sake. I think we've been doing a good job of this one for several years, and we've been doing a good job of stabilizing and not continuing change for change's sake, but you change just for betterment. Okay? We have a lot of changes coming up with CRM change. It's going to happen. Go with it. Dive into it. Okay? Culture of innovation. We're innovating the way we're doing this again. Because we have to, and we've been talking about it since day one. All the processes have to change for $4 or $5 million. Yeah? Okay? At $3 million, you're not in the right scale to be on the same platform as $5 million. Between 3 and 5, you've got to get there. That's what we're doing. Been saying it since day one. Open transparency. This is also with our clients. You're going to see a lot more of that. Once we got our software in place, we're talking about these patrol logs, you're going to see a lot more transparency to the clients. Because that drives excellence, drives integrity, drives all the other values that we have here. Okay? Open-mindedness, respect, leadership, servant leadership. We have a whole course on servant leadership in the values and vision section. It's usually like the first 3 summits we did a servant leadership thing on every one of them. Winning. We happened to be working for that guy during the time I wrote this. This is from 2014. Okay? We are winning. We are beating the competition. I guarantee you that none of our competitors can put the same caliber of people in this room that we have today. Doesn't happen. Okay? We are doing very well as an organization. We are very much on track. If your people don't believe that, we need to change our approach. Because it's true. You can get frustrated. You can get down about certain things. You can get in the weeds because you're not in the cloud, you're not in the dirt, you're in the weeds. You can do all kinds of stuff, but you got to remember that if you're not telling people that we're winning, you're not building the right culture. If you're not praising the people for winning, we're not building the right culture. When you walk in and you're pissed off and you kick the trash can, that's a bad experience for your employee. It takes 12 positive experiences to turn that around. I learned this lesson pretty hard the first year when I came in and everybody said, do we need to look for other jobs? God, no. Why the hell would you guys think you need to look for other jobs in case you kick the trash can? So that means you gotta find a new fucking job? No. Right? You can have a bad day with somebody above you. Call them up and say, I'm having a bad day. You can't have a bad day with people below you. It doesn't work that way. You're the motivator. You're the thermometer for what we're doing. It does not work that way. Make sure you hear that right. You can have a bad day with people above you. You cannot have a bad day with people below you. Even if you're crazy, say, man, I'm just swamped right now, but we're having fun. We're winning. I'll call you in a couple weeks, all right? See ya. I don't know what the answer is, but you got to remember the perspective of the downhill view. They see your feet. And if you're kicking the trash can, it's a problem. Pride. I hope you enjoy what you do. I sure do. Passion. Happiness' cousin, right? Initiative, creativity, and passion. So, in the last 2 years, after really pushing culture, how have we done? Brent, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think we've got some. I think the teams are much stronger now than they were before, and we're stronger as an overall team, for sure.
I think we've got some serious culture in this place. I think we've got a long way to go in one category. Praise. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it's night and day different, really. But, it's obviously getting better.
So, when we talk about our problems, what do we talk about? Solutions. Company-wide recognition. What do we currently do? Company-wide recognition. What do we currently do? Positive coaching forums. Do those actually get done?
Sometimes. Rare.
You know me, man, when I want something done and it's not getting done, I try it again and again and again from different angles until it gets done, right? That's how I get things done. I don't give up, I just put it in a different box and sell it again. Right? So what do you think I'm selling today? Company-wide coaching forums. Company-wide recognition. We need some. It's a way to say thank you to our employees. Organizations that give regular thanks to employees far outperform those that don't. Far outperform those that don't. I don't believe you. Okay, let's look at some statistics. 87% of recognition programs focus on tenure. Yeah, that's right. People get rewarded for sticking around. Awesome. I hate this idea. I hate talking about recognition based on tenure. I do. Hey man, you did a pile of shit, but you flew underneath the radar so damn long that we're going to give you a reward. Right? It's horrible. It says guys that say, I've been here longer, but he got a better job than me. Great, because he's better than you. Next. It's not that simple. It's great. He's better than you, and you can be there if you follow this plan. Here it is, and let's get you there. Right? Research has found that tenure-based reward systems have virtually no impact on organizational performance. Did you stay an extra year on your last job so that you could get a 10-year pin? Silly. But that's what they all do, right? Thank God we haven't done that. So I'd be throwing that out the window. Turns out that many of these tenure-based rewards programs are really legacy programs from the turn of the century when labor unions forced management to give employees service rewards. Wow. Most large companies have them today, but only 58% of employees even know that the programs exist. The hell's the point? When you go to your next employer someday and they say, hey, you get a pin here, think about what a pile of shit the management program is, okay? Seriously. Think about what that does for you. Modern re-engineered recognition programs have a huge impact on business-based performance, or business performance. Companies scored in the top 20% for recognition building culture had 31% lower voluntary turnover rates. That's dramatic. There's a reason why we're looking at this. Most companies spend between 1% and 3% of payroll on recognition programs. How much do we spend? Interestingly enough, I had someone pull this data for me. But I need a marker. And Matt, you can grab me a marker or something. Who's got? Josh. Okay. And Jess, can you read me off these stats?
This year or last year?
Last year first, please.
Last year overall for the company, 0.22%.
Okay, and you have it broken down by area?
Yeah, Dennis was nice enough to do it by area.
Okay.
First quarter this year, Aspen, 0. Grand Junction, 0.5. Eagle, 0.36. Front Range, 0. Summit, 0.3. Corporate, 0.47.
Oh.
How many?
Is that too fast, Summit? No,
That was
30, Eagle. Yeah, that's Eagle, and then the other one is Summit. Yeah. And then corporate.
But average companies are between 1% and 3%, and I want to be above average. Way the fuck off. What's this year?
That was this year.
Like
I thought it was last year.
Last year was the 2.2.
2.7 this year.
Guess what we're going to be talking about a lot in finance today?
How to spend money on
How much money in our employee recognition program goes unspent? Boy, it's kind of different because we talk a lot about saving money all the time about everything. It's real easy just not to spend money on recognizing employees. To save money, right? Oh, I'll just tell them good job instead of giving them something for it.
Front Range is just saved up for something really big.
You're recognizing with an APC.
Something like that. We're looking at little birds right now.
Commuter basis.
The psychology of recognition. Who wants to read this for me? Andy, go for it.
In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, two of the most valuable psychological needs we have as human beings are the need to be appreciated and the need to belong. These things are met through peer-to-peer thanks and recognition. Look at the hierarchy below. You can see the compensation and benefits support a fundamental need. Recognition and career advancement support a higher level psychological need.
If you don't buy off on the bullshit that I preach in these meetings, you really should, because there's statistics and there's all kinds of actual hard data behind what we talk about. Okay? I don't make stuff up. I research it. Alright? This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How many of you remember this from high school? Middle school? This is a basic, real thing. We always go back to these kinds of things. This basic, fundamental thing. Right? You know, when you're playing ball as a kid, your coach always says, go back to the fundamentals, go back to the fundamentals, go back to the fundamentals. Right? It's the same idea. Yesterday, when we talked about these clients in Summit County, how many of them did I say you just have to kiss his butt and he'll be happy? One. Probably a bunch of them. But
I think I blocked the rest out.
But that's basically what we do with most of our clients, right? Well, what types of clients do we have? Internal and external. That's what we do with our external clients. Is that what we do with our internal clients too? Nope. We forget about that. I can say no because I'm looking at the stats. All right, we want to talk about how many unused dollars in each area in their budget. Well, we never got our budget. Great, but you never asked either. You never went to bat for your employees in this line item. You never put in a PO on this line item. How many POs in this line item have we ever turned down?
Okay, look at the time.
Somebody needs a drum.
That's one small.
Here is the hierarchy of need, right? Career development opportunities is small. Safety is very big. Love and belonging is number 2. Esteem. What's our career development opportunity category? Training. We talked a lot yesterday about training as recruitment, training as retention. It's true. But you also have to not forget to tie training with career development, right? It's not training for training's sake, it's training for career development. Career doesn't necessarily just mean how it impacts our company. Career is what their personal goals are, not just what their company goals are. If we're focused on not losing them, here's the difference. It's not about trying to keep them here by putting a ceiling over them. It's about keeping them here because you take the ceiling off of them. Don't play mind games to hold people in the positions. You advance them. If there's not a position inside of our company and we lose them because we're not challenging them, that's our problem. I had to read this one a couple times to really get how this one fit into us. I almost didn't include it. Remember, the purpose of recognition is to drive greater levels of discretionary efforts. such discretionary effort comes from when we as people feel inspired to do more. In our job interviews, one of the main 6 questions is, tell me about your shining moment in customer service. I always say, do you want me to define customer service for you? And I love it when people say, no thanks. Really? It's a job interview. I just said, do you want me to tell you what the answer is? Right? Okay, so those smart people that say, sure, tell me what customer service means to you. I say, it's about going above and beyond what you're paid to do. Here's your SOG. This is what you're paid to do. Now go above and beyond it. I want a page in every SOG that says, now go above and beyond this. Because the SOG is the minimum. It's the standard. Right? How does Carl Nesbitt go above and beyond? Tell me about it.
He does a lot of different things. I mean, during the winter, like he went and just helped scrape people's windshields. He walks people out to their cars at the end of their shift at, midnight.
That's pretty good, man. Your hotel guys, I'm sure they go above and beyond all the damn time, don't they? We need to praise people when they go above and beyond. Right? That's what this is saying. We need to empower them and motivate them to go above and beyond. How do you take your job to the next level should be one of the conversations that you have with every employee. You might have some ideas, but chances are good you don't. Because you're not in their shoes 12 hours a day doing the job. Or maybe you do have a good idea because you're in the clouds above them and you can go, well, if you just did this, you'd be better. Right? Great, share that. But ask them, how do you take your job to the next level? Don't just do your job. Don't just show up and do this and collect a paycheck. Take it to the next level. Then when you have that conversation, you're failing if you're not recognizing it. If you're not praising it. Right? You're not fueling the fire that they've started if you're not blowing up what they're doing. Hormones play a role. Well, why do I include this kind of crap? So that you actually know the theory behind what we're talking about. So you actually know what it does. Everyone who reads this goes, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, when you're happy, hormones get released. Okay, great. It's true. That hormone dump of, oxytocin? That hormone dump of coming to work, the next time you walk into that office, what happens? Your body naturally gives off a little of that hormone dump again. And it's continual over time. Either when you walk in, you get a good feeling, or you walk in, you get a bad feeling, and it's very hard to pull you out of that. Right? It's the praise that starts it. The praise is the hormone dump. The next time you walk in, your body says, I'm in the same place, same location, same person, hormone dump. Okay? A continual cycle. But everything about hormones is continually updating. It's about patterns. How many weeks does it take to make a habit, Candy?
It takes 21 days, 3 weeks.
21 days, 3 weeks to make a habit. Habits die when you don't feed them, right? Just because you did it for 3 weeks doesn't mean you did it for the rest of your life.
Right.
But it takes 3 weeks of incredible effort to make a habit. Then you have to continuously stay on it. I need 3 weeks of you focusing on praise. Big time. 3 weeks. And then we continually update it. Company recognition, 5 best practices, right? Recognize people based on specific results and behaviors.
Bless you.
Implement peer-to-peer recognition, not top-down. Interesting. Share recognition stories, make recognition easy and frequent, tie recognition to your own company value and goals. Okay, let's go through them. Number one, don't just give people reward for being an employee of the month. Give them a reward for a specific thing that they did that month, right? Be specific. Now, in my allusions yesterday, I started to highlight the idea of putting things on Facebook. Sometimes you can't put specific things on Facebook, right? It's okay. You can say, yesterday, this person did a great job at an employee site. You're still naming them and calling them out for going incredible, but you're not going into the details of the liabilities that you kept from that client in publishing bad names of clients, right? But you can still praise the employee in a non-specific manner if you have a confidentiality issue. But that's actually not usually the case. Usually, we can easily write the sentence in a manner that's not going to throw us under the bus of the client and still praise an employee. Give them specifics. Company-wide recognition. How do we specifically praise company-wide an employee?
Put a slide about them in our screensaver slides.
We've done that.
Yep.
You can do a lot more of that. More emails that are junk. I don't care. Build our culture the right way. Email's the core for all we care. Email it out to everybody and say, damn it, I'm proud of this guy because he did this last night. Good. That's an email I'm happy to read in the mornings. Because what does that do for us? It makes us feel good. It makes us have pride when we're reading our emails. It makes us understand the accomplishment. It builds our culture of winning. It builds our culture of purpose, responsibility. It fuels the fire. Everyone else reads it and says, oh yeah, I should call out my employee for doing a good job too. It builds momentum. So do it. Implement a peer-to-peer recognition, not top-down. Brian. Can you read this for us? Did you see that far this morning?
Not really. Recognition from leaders has less impact than you may think. While HR managers believe this is the key criteria for success, employees say that they feel much better when they are recognized by their peers. Why is this? Peers know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So when they thank you for your efforts, the impact is much more meaningful. Top-down recognition is also often viewed as political and rarely reaches the quiet, critical, high performers. I can't read shit today. Critical high performers in the company. So let me read the last one again. Top-down recognition is often viewed as political and is rarely. What's that?
It rarely reaches.
And it rarely reaches the quiet, but critical high performers in the company. Quiet.
Okay.
Man, I gotta not drink.
Why do I want Brent to read this slide, guys? Because he's the top. Top-down recognition isn't the answer. The answer is not for you to be the person who recognizes all of your employees on a slide, a Facebook post, or report. It's for you to come up with a way for your team to praise each other. What event was that I made everybody write positive notes about each other. Was it the 2015?
Yeah.
That's the stuff we're talking about. I walked in and I said, share a note about somebody who did something good today. Put it on the wall, please. I didn't even read them. It's not for me. Okay? Yes, you should read them too, but it's not for me. It's for them. It builds the team dynamic. Right? It's praising each other. It is so easy when you do handoffs. JR, when your guys, they come in and they do handoffs, it's your guy, and they hand off for 10 seconds, and then it's another guy. And then they hand off for 10 seconds to another guy. And these guys don't really mix, right? Or, I know you try to get more overlap than that, but some of our sites, this is what happens. These guys don't mix. Last night it was so-and-so, tonight it's this guy. It is so damn easy to blame the guy before you, right? Oh, that shit wasn't done right because he's so-and-so, and he doesn't do shit right. You don't know him. There's no interpersonal reaction. It's all going to be negative because all you can do is blame the guy, right? But when he leaves a note that says, thank God you did this last week because you're awesome. Boy, that guy's so nice, isn't he? That guy, he's nice. He spends extra time making sure that I'm cut right. It's just a note that changes the world. It's just a praise board in your office that's actually used. It's 3 weeks. Good habit building. It's peer-to-peer recognition. It's, hey, here's a listserv or a distribution group for everyone on my team, and tell your employees to effing use it. Right? Because, Dan, how much do distribution groups cost us to send a company? Nothing. Okay? Email Dan a list of email addresses and he'll put it up. Okay? So let's say you have an Ask for Patrol email address. Let's say you have an Ask for Patrol email address, right? And you have the culture of having your employees email of praise when they come up to all the other employees. What are you doing? You're telling all the employees about something new. Here's the difference, okay? If I say, as a manager, I'll wait for you guys. Everybody's looking at you. If I say that as a manager, I want checkbox number 3 to be checked off every night. And I email my group of people and I say, hey guys, you're not checking off checkbox number 3. This is a problem. You got to check off checkbox number 3 every single time. Okay, that's a negative interaction, right? But if I say, hey, Trevor, tomorrow, can you make sure you check box number 3 for me? And then the next day I go, guys, Trevor checks box number 3 so well. I'm so excited for Trevor. Trevor's an amazing member of my team because he checks box number 3 every time. Thank you, God, for Trevor. Okay? Don't you think the rest of your damn team's still going to check box number 3? Do you see the difference in psychology that you created? You got the job done by building culture. It's the same damn thing. It seems stupid, doesn't it? I just want to check box number 3 checked. Why can't they just tell people to check box number 3? Because you're not building your culture. You're taking a shortcut. And you're chopping people's knees off slowly. You're not building up your team. Right? This is your leadership. This is how this works. How are you going to make sure that peer-to-peer praise hits your topics? How's it going to go on your site? Your people don't even talk to each other. How are we going to accomplish this? Share recognition stories. Most powerful practice is when you actually share a story. Why did Jesus talk in parables?
Because it could apply to, so it could be timeless.
Cross-cultural.
Because they're stories. Indians, storytellers. How do Indians pass down values from generation to generation? Storytelling. We tell a lot of stories. Last night, how many stories were told while drinking beers?
0.
You realize you're building culture with every story. Every time that you decide to open your mouth, you're building culture. If I'm telling stories about wrecking motorcycles and getting run over, but we're a safety company. How's that work out?
It was non-reportable.
Something like that. Okay?
If you look back, most good safety men or companies, they all have had a bad accident at one time.
Safety's written in blood. That's kind of like that. Okay? In our weekly company-wide conference calls, we make it a point of recognizing someone for their contributions every week. Not only does this make this person feel great, it takes our leadership team to promote team behaviors. As a result, we can expect this from everyone. We also use a peer-to-peer system, which creates our own storyboard of performance and thank yous. I would love to use some of the stories that you guys have as marketing. I would love to use your line-level employees going above and beyond as a marketing story. It'd be incredible to have these stories. I don't even hear half of them. I don't even get to hear them. Because when you come in here, it's all work, or I'm talking too much, right? We gotta get a way for us to hear these stories, for us to archive these stories, for us to count the wins that these stories create. Where's our W counter? You know, we talk a lot about the L's. Let's talk a lot more about the W's, because there's more W's than there are L's, but we handle problems as executives. And that's what we talk about. And it's daunting. It becomes negative and depressing and difficult. When I open my email and there are 5 negatives and 0 positives, it's hard to get motivated and get excited about what we do. When reality is, there's a lot more wins I just don't even get to hear about. Because you don't write emails about them. Because you don't do purchase requests based on them. The purchase requests are to cover our ass for problems. Right? Where is our values in our organization? I think that they're apparent. Where we show, you know, it's interesting, Dave Ramsey always says, I can tell you what you value. Just give me your credit card statement. You value where you spend your money, right? I know what you value, man. We spend our money on the negatives. Right? We run out to the Denver airport to buy Bose earphones for a guest that have their earphones missing. It's a 5-hour round trip and a $500 pair of earphones. That's where we spend our money. Would I rather have spent $1,000 thanking that team so that that shit didn't disappear? If we built the right culture and had the right team? Yeah. But it's retrospect. It's hindsight. So how do we learn from that and make it into our culture, our values moving forward? Make recognition frequent and easy. Make it trivial. truly simple for employees to recognize each other. Many of the modern recognized programs we studied, all the employees budget for points or dollars that they can give to others online in seconds. So this is the people I was reading are using an app, an employee recognition app. The app has points. The points become a game. The top gamers get to pick prizes. Right? It's an interesting read. Is it practical for us? Maybe. I don't know. It's not quite because of all the line level turnover we have. But wait a minute. That's kind of the problem, right? So is the problem preventing our solution? Where's this coming from here? I'm lost now. There's a reason why I'm going through theory and not rolling out a recognition program, right? We don't just teach do this. We say here's why we do something. Make sense? Tie recognition to your own company values and goals. We just talked about this, right? Where do you spend your money? That's the short tail sign of where you spend where your values are. Deloitte and Touche, Intuit, have recognition programs that focus on the company's missions and goals. Well, if we're going to have a recognition program that focus on company's goals, we have to know what the company's goals are. Right? What's the commander's intent? Anyone know it? That's my individual. What's the commander's intent? Come on, man, we spent like 5 hours on this.
Making money while building long-term business relationships.
Long-term relationships. That's right, man. Thank you. Make money through long-term relationships. Long-term means clients, internal and external. That's why we chose that. Long-term relationships with our employees and our clients. Too many CEOs and managers focus on bottom line without thinking about how it feels without saying thank you to people. I feel like we're in this rut. You haven't noticed in the last 2 days. We've talked a lot about newsletters and recognition programs that have never happened. We spent a lot of hours drafting stuff that we've never sent out. While some of you have knocked out a park on your individual level, we've failed as a corporation. Publish it. Rewards and recognitions with social media. A study found that 82% of companies that do not currently include social media in their programs, and 55% of them are not planning to add it in the future. Why? This really doesn't make sense to me. And it clearly didn't make sense to the person writing it because it's a statistic that they included. Right? The people who actually follow us on social media are employees. So use our social media as our recognition platform. One of them. Instant feedback. Don't wait for a monthly meeting to talk about an employee who knocked out of the park. Instant feedback. Write it and put it up there while it's fresh. Hell, you can make an employee write it. Listen to this. Hey, Kayla, you did a great job last night. Unfortunately, I need some documentation on how it went. Can you practice like a quick write-up for me? Thanks. Hey, I'll take some of her stuff and I'll just put it on Facebook. Take me 2 seconds. Right? If she's humble like the rest of our employees, and they're all martyrs, because that's the actual culture that we've built is a martyrism culture, then she's not going to praise herself, so I'll add some sentences about how great Kayla is and publish it. Does Kayla have to be a 100% model employee to praise her? No. She had to do one thing right. One instance right. Sandwich method, management, right? Good. Needs work, good. Okay? When we focus on those goods all the time, you see a lot more of them. They far outweigh those negatives. Don't worry about if she's a mediocre employee who shined once. Take her shiny moment, blow it up. Because then she'll shine again later. Estimates that it takes 3 years to adopt. Oh my God, 3 years? One reason cited that employees' discomfort with their employers sharing their personal social media networks. Well, they all follow us already. Modern high-performance recognition programs are social. They let anyone in the company recognize anyone else. What? Our employees can actually not only send an email to each other, write a note to each other, put it on the praise board, but they can actually post it on the Facebook page. Hey, you know, give me 2 line-level employees' names that work together. Steve and John. Okay? Steve and John. John can go on there and say, Steve's the greatest guy in the world, and put it on to our Facebook page. Sure, why the hell not? I love it. Let's get some of them to do it. Because once they do it a couple times, it's going to catch on. Instead of writing these boards out here on the wall, or maybe in addition to writing these boards out here on the wall during the 2015, and put it on our Facebook page, will you? Talk about how great that guy was last night. Talk about how amazing he was at servant leadership. He's taking care of something for you, so you didn't have to. Right? We have those moments all the time. We've got incredible people. Let's start exploiting. Be timely. Getting things done as opposed to waiting for anniversaries or big meetings. Right? So that's just an example. It's not, I'm not trying to roll that out right now, but it's something to consider. Do we need an app just to do recognition? Sure, if that's going to be our #1 value, great. Let's do it. It's going to be one of our top values. What app do we have right now? Safety. Great. That's in line with our values. We've got a safety app. What app do we have right now besides that? Patrol logs, okay, integrity, documentation. Great. These are all in our values. See, we got 4 apps. No bummer. That's fine. Okay? But the employee recognition piece is important. Make it our own. How are we going to do this? I've given us 1,000 different ideas. Which ideas do you like?
Facebook for sure.
Slide on screensavers, email, the core, Facebook, praise board. I mean, don't you think that, Ron, if we put a praise board and we actually got Michael Ortiz to do this as our ringleader on this deal, we put a praise board in that office, court board in that office, and said praise, and we just started just praising people, don't you think we would affect the culture of that organization too? Don't you think that they'd be talking about praise boards? Which is pretty dramatic, right? How much does a praise board cost? Well, it's okay, we got a budget for it. Okay?
You're getting lazy.
What else? What other ideas do we like out of today? Or what other ideas do you have that we haven't talked about? What are you going to actually do?
I think everything boils down to fitting into people's schedules. So if the app is easy to use and could be done quickly, it might be more used, more done.
An app consideration, okay? Candy, can this be yours to look at?
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to look at that? Okay.
Why not incorporate it into the new system coming, January 1st of next year? That's something that can be added into that program.
Anything more about this? Pass down. Add the meeting agendas. It definitely will be part of the corporate agenda moving forward. Will it be part of your team agenda? Hey, we're gonna open this thing up, safety chairs, kick phrases. Okay, next, right? This is our value system. Safety chairs, phrases, right? Our meetings are our value systems, our team meetings. We add it to the agendas of the team meetings.
We already talked about it as pros and cons in the events meetings, so it just needs to be pushed further.
Yeah, maybe changing the name of it. It's a big phrase. Be deliberate about your values. Be deliberate about the culture that you're building. Be deliberate with your employees. Tell them, hey guys, I'm trying to build a culture of praise around here. Can you guys help me out with that? Sure, what does that mean? I don't know. I got some ideas, but maybe you have some too. Can we try this, this, and this? What else do you think? How are you going to run this down, man? You know who actually did this really well? Who actually knocked it out of the park on praise was John Herbert. You walked into his site, those guys hugged each other and thanked each other profusely. It's crazy. You know? We can bash a lot of things, but man, he knocked it out of the park on praise. He really did. How's that going to be you? What other ideas do we have? How many of you appreciate something that Dan Richardson's done for you in the last year? Dan Richardson is a department of one. How does our company of culture of praise Dan Richardson for when he does a good job? It really doesn't.
That's it. That's my lifetime. I appreciate it.
It's a realistic concern. Because if Dan Richardson doesn't feel the praise, can you imagine what the overnight guy feels when he never talks to anyone? When he never sees his boss? How do we put praise in the overnight supervisor stuff? Boy, I think they'd answer the phone a lot more if we got some praises for them to say. Right? What does that do? It's a hormone dump? Say, oh, she's so nice, she's going to tell me something nice about herself. How do you fuel her fire? How do you empower her to be able to make that call, right? How does she know what to praise him on? Yeah. Now you know how to praise your people because you tell me all the time who's not going to park with you, right? So first words out of your mouth, you've got it ingrained in you. Let's empower that. Let's put it in the nightly report. This employee is a pleasure to talk with every night. Put it in the overnight supervisor report comments. Great. Put it on Facebook. This employee is a pleasure, detail-oriented overnight officer. Great. Now they know that because if you're just in the overnight report, they don't know that you're singing their praises. Right? Share it. Write an email to core. This guy's especially good every time. Johnny on the spot. Gets it. Would Isaiah Deeds actually want to talk to you if he's getting praised for talking to you? Probably. It might take him 3 weeks to build the right habit. Right? Praise is what builds these bridges. I'm spending an hour talking in circles for a reason. How else are you going to bring this home? How are you going to start doing it? Give me a practical. What are you going to do, JR? How are you going to implement this?
Well, Four Seasons, they have the first class cards.
Okay.
So I know that they get that, so I'll just tell them that we can start, because I printed out coaching forms. When I was down there, I told them that when we went over that, I don't know how long ago. So I told them that they're allowed to give peer-to-peer positive coaching forms, but if there's going to be any type of disciplinary stuff, that they need to come from supervisor or above. So, like I know Nick Andrews, he did a real good job, and I saw the video of it, so I told Chuck to make sure that he does a positive coaching form, and we can get it done. But just talking with those guys and setting a goal, say, hey man, do at least 5 in a week. And peer to peer, I want say, hey, try to get aiming for 3 of these.
Great. It feels a little forced, but if that's what we got to do to get this thing started, great. Okay? I'm all about it. Because culture is taught. Right? It's the first slide. Culture's taught. You're teaching the culture. If that means you have to drive it home as saying you have to find 3 positive things a week about your team, so be it. Because culture's taught. 3 weeks, it makes it a habit. It comes from you. You drive it. You push it. It doesn't come from it's not natural, especially when you don't see the people. It's not natural. It's taught. Think about the people closest to you. Your parents, your closest friends. Why are they so close? Because they love you and they praise you. Think about it. Even if they're ragging on you, you can tell it's because they love you. It's teasing because they think you're good at something, or being yourself, or whatever. I'm not sure about Ryan, but the rest of us. The point being is that the ball's in your court, it's your culture, in your area. I can drive it as far as I can. But the moral of the story is it does come down to you. Think hard, implement it, be deliberate. Send yourself an appointment right now for a week from now that just says culture and praise. Make it a 30-minute appointment a week from now. So that a week from now, after you leave here, you can be at your desk, you can be in your hyper-focused zone, and you can read the words culture and praise and go, how do I push culture and praise? How do I actually do? Because I've taught culture from a 90,000-foot view 5 or 6 times in the last 6 years, at least. Right? But this is a practical of how to put culture in through praise on your side. So take it to heart. Don't just walk out of here and forget about it. Set yourself an appointment right now on your phones, right now on your calendars, for at least a week out. That says culture and praise. To where you can actually focus on. to where you can actually implement something on your sites or teams. CP guys, they're all tough, they don't need coaching race. Bullshit.
They're the biggest babies.
Bullshit.
They need more praise than anyone.
I wouldn't say babies, I would say prima donnas.
Yeah, people.
Extremely good looking.
Except for Chad. The rest of them.
Molly, you there?
I'm here.
Being a remote employee,